projects. There are some other amazing programs around Denver, there's no doubt about that. I actually came from East High School. I taught that there for my first 2 years after moving to Colorado. We had 6 art teachers at East High School, and they can do some things that we can't here. As an example, they have a dedicated ceramics department, and those are things that we can't do as a small program. So if you don't get into DSA, first of all, it's okay. There are some other options that are really phenomenal. And the other option is this. If this is something that you really want, please come back. We were very fortunate, and I think this story is so pertinent for tonight. We just had a student graduate this past year who did not get into DSA until her 3rd time trying. She auditioned as a 6th grader, a 7th grader, and then wound up taking a year off and coming back as a 9th grader. And she came into our 9th grade program and completed the rest of her career here at DSA and was truly, truly phenomenal. We are so glad that she kept coming back and kept trying to get into our program. So please, don't be discouraged by that. We want you to keep making work, and we want you, if this is your thing, if you really truly believe that, please come back, see us again. I'll tell you, one of the things that we see is when we've had a student come back 2 or 3 times, it's become very clear that this is a student who really wants to be in our program. So just some words of advice as we move forward as well.
Yeah, so at this point, we are going to start releasing you, right?
Well, I just wanted to make sure if there weren't any burning questions,
Yes.
That we leave some time here so that we can answer some questions before we start releasing to grab your paperwork. So.
Absolutely. Or the teacher, as long as it's sealed, the teacher has to seal it, and then that can be dropped off in the office. It doesn't have to be mailed. However you have to get it here is fine. Usually, I mean, right now, if a teacher does it and mails it, it shouldn't have any issue getting here. But if you're concerned, you can absolutely drop it off.
How many letters?
2 letters. Yes.
Yeah, during the still life, how close are the students sitting to the objects?
It's going to be pretty close. So in my classroom, the larger studio, we'll have 2 sets of still lifes. And we'll have tables set up around each still life. So we'll have 2 rings of the still life right in the middle. And it's just far enough to where they can't reach out and touch it. They'll be completely surrounding that still life. So it's really just easy to kind of select whatever is right in front of you, pick a section from that, and draw what you see right there. So it won't be like on the other side of the room and they can't see it. It really is, within 5 feet away from them.
So the question was, do we negate work that maybe use some reference photos, right, or reference images? So those can be okay, right, especially if they're in the service of maybe a larger vision. Like if you're saying, oh, I'm really not sure how to draw this table or to draw this light, it's such an important part of what I'm doing here. Our students here will do the same thing, right? That's okay. What we try to push with our kiddos here, and this is something, if you're looking to do this, regardless of whether you're a DSA or otherwise, I highly recommend for most of those things to start the process of taking your own references, right? Now, to answer your question once again, it's okay to use those reference images in your artwork, right? But highly recommend to all of you young artists, start to take your own reference photos and work from those. Don't let anyone else claim ownership over your work. Right?
What art utensils are you using for the audition?
So everyone is going to get a pencil. They're all going to get an HB pencil, and you're all going to get the same white eraser. So it allows you to shade light and dark pretty well, and everyone the same even playing field. But it'll be a pencil drawing that you'll be asked to sketch and shade and try to show as much value change and texture as much as you can. In the back there.
For the letter of recommendation, what if your student doesn't have an art teacher?
It doesn't have to be an art teacher. It can be from any, maybe another teacher who knows them really well and can speak to their work ethic, or any teacher or someone who knows them really well that isn't a family member can also work as that.
Two quick ones. One, are there extra pencils and sharpeners in case you break?
We have proctors who will be walking around and they can give you a new pencil. There are plenty of erasers. If you break your pencil, it's not like, oh, you're out. No, we'll give you a new pencil, and then they get resharpened between each session. That's part of their job as the proctor is to supply fresh pencils. So, good question. And you had a second part?
The second half is, are they allowed to have headphones or music?
No. And I know that it's difficult because a lot of people like to draw to music. I always have music on when I make artwork, so I get that. But for this process, we just can't have any electronic devices on. No headphones. Good question, but no, we can't have that.
The time allotment given for the still life and the trade prompts, are they going to be given like a 5-minute warning or some sort of?
Yeah, there will be like a time countdown. They give it when there's a 20-minute left, when it's halfway through, when there's 10 minutes left, 5 minutes left. They do give them some warning on that, so they can kind of gauge where they're at with that time. Back there, yeah. It's you.
How many students are usually in your class?
In an actual class, 20, yeah, around 20, give or take a little bit.
You said her child wants to include digital art in your portfolio. You want it on their like iPad or print out?
Either way is fine. If they have digital work and they can bring an iPad in, like I'm fine with that. As long as we can see what they're doing.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, absolutely, it doesn't matter. You can print it out, you can put it on an iPad, whatever you would like. I would suggest maybe not all digital work, right? Because, again, we want to know that these students can do that variety, especially with the foundations, right? So we're not only going to do digital here, right? You know, so we really want to see a little bit more of a broad spectrum, but absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
How do you, what's the like acceptance rate for the freshmen, out of how many spots there are and how many are?
It really depends. It does, and I wish I could give you a straight answer to that, but it depends on, number one, how many applicants that we get, right? And I think we have a pretty good pool of 9th grade applicants this year. That's one of the years where we probably accept a few more, because sometimes our middle schoolers, once they graduate from 8th grade, move on to 9th, some of them want a more traditional program. So they'll go to a place like East High School. So we have usually a few more openings, but that's something that will be dictated to us through administration based on our overall enrollment.
Yeah, we just don't know the numbers until later on.
Why do you mostly draw cartoons and stuff and not as much still life?
Well, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with drawing cartoons. I do like to see a variety of things, so you may want to, try to include some observational drawings, some things that are realistic. Again, we want to see a variety of work because we're going to be doing a variety of work. Every class you're going to have from here, if you come in as a 6th grader to the time you leave as a 12th grader, you're going to have to do a variety of things. We want you to try different things. Every project we do is a different technique, different medias. And if you only really want to focus on this one thing, you're going to have to do all kinds of different stuff all the time. So that variety is really important for us to see that you're willing to do that too.
Right, my 9th graders just did a graphic novel page assignment. It was awesome, they did great work, but it was one thing that they did out of the whole semester. And we might not do that again, the rest of the year. So it's important to have that variety. And it's not too late to start doing those things. Right?
Just to clarify, you have about 20 students per grade in the visual arts program for each grade? That's about what you said?
It's about right.
secure?
So we will, I think, and I actually think that's a really good question. So we will sometimes put things in front of students so that they're drawing from observation, like you're going to do in your audition, right? So we will do that. But again, as we move along through our curriculum, we're going to do lots of different things. So sometimes it'll be from an observation, sometimes it'll be straight out of a student's head, right? Sometimes it might be from observations that they've taken from photographs, as an example. And sometimes it might not be drawing at all. It might be ceramics, it might be sculpture, it might be something like digital, right? So that will happen, but it's not going to happen all the time. So that's actually another really good question. Thank you. Will we tell them what to draw, or will we let them draw whatever our students want? So I guess maybe the best answer is we will sometimes tell them what to draw. That will definitely help. And I think it probably happens more with our younger students as we're starting to build our foundations, right? Skill levels. As our students move through the program, they have more and more autonomy, which means that they have more choice of doing what they want. And what they do want to do, they're so much better at because we build those foundations based on the things that we told them to do when they were younger students. Okay? Yes?
Just to clarify, for the audition, I think you said it's gonna be a large still life and they can choose to draw just a section of it.
Correct.
Is that kind of what you recommend, like not trying to draw
Right.
the whole thing, but zooming
Right.
in on a few objects?
With 40 minutes, you will not have time to draw the biggest still life I've ever seen. We really want you to focus on a few objects. In fact, we recommend 3 objects, 3 to 5 objects. Focus on those, pick a section if they're all together, and draw exactly what you see, render those exactly as you see them. That's the recommendation.
It's a good question.
I have a question. So, would you like the original artwork, or is it okay to take pictures? Let's say, I'm asking because my daughter was working in a different country, and for me to send it, I have to send it here.
No, please don't do that. You don't need to do that. A photograph of something like that is absolutely fine. Just as clear a photograph as you can so we can truly get a sense of what we're looking at, but that's, yeah, please don't let, yeah, a photograph's good.
For about the school choice, we have to be the first option.
Yes. Yes. So again, that's all explained. It should be explained on the website. But in order to, even if you get accepted to DSA and you have not put Denver School of the Arts as your first choice, you have to make Denver School of the Arts your first choice on the school choice application. I know that can be a little confusing, and I wish I could speak more about that, but that's not really my scope. I don't do a lot with the school choice, but you do have to put that as your first choice, or else you'll be placed in whatever the default one is there.
So for the audition, is that 40 minutes for the still life and 20 minutes for the...
Yes, so students have 40 minutes for the still life.
My question actually is, I'm sorry for interrupting, but my question actually is, does that happen like 40 minutes first and then right away they start at 20 minutes for...
Yes. Yep, each audition is exactly an hour.
Right. And the second part of the question is, it starts, I assume 120 kids won't be auditioning in the same room at the same time, right?
Right, there'll be 24 students per hour.
Okay.
So that's why-
With the number, we're gonna default
Yep.
lowest time.
Yep. So when you get your audition card, it'll have your audition number on it, and it'll have your audition time. And it starts at 7:30 in the morning, so it goes from 7:30 to 8:30, and then 8:40 to 9:40. So it just kind of goes all day long like that. So there's 24 students per hour all day long.
Thank you.
It'll be read out loud. They'll have a copy of it on their desk, and it'll be read out loud. And every year we do a different prompt, but it's really just seeing what they come up with.
Yeah, so I'll give you last year, since we're not going to use that one this year. But last year's creative prompt was to draw a gumball machine that dispenses anything but gumballs, right?
And what you would use as currency for it.
And what you would use as currency to get those out of the gumball machine. And it was amazing. I mean, we saw so many wonderful things. So again, we will not be using that prompt this year.
Yeah, so don't plan on it.
That's an example of a creative prompt that we've used in the past.
But that's what I'm talking about when I say I want to see something I've never seen before. We saw so many creative ideas because everyone did that same prompt, and just to see how people handle it differently, how your minds work, the things you came up with, that's what's exciting. I want to see something completely creative, completely clever. And that gives you the chance to kind of show that part of your brain.
Just a few, probably just a few more, because we want to make sure that we, again, honor your time, and it's going to take a while to get your numbers coming through here. So a few more questions, yes?
Sorry.
Throughout the year? It's going to vary dramatically from year to year, and it's going to be a very, very wide variety. So if you can think it, we're probably going to use it at some point during your career at DSA. Yeah. Very broad. No resume. No resume.
Typically for the callback interviews, is there some flexibility? So I know those 2 dates, if you're available one weekend but not the other, are you kind of?
We really can't pick when a person is put in what time slot. They just kind of get randomly generated into that. It's too complicated for people to pick and choose when, we're dealing with, probably 100 students in all of those time slots. So there really isn't any, unfortunately, you just have to be available on those days. And I know that's not always possible, but that's just kind of how the system works.